In this video, I'll be discussing what I believe to be the most important book published in 2024, Nexus, A Brief History of Information Networks from the Stone Age to AI by Yuval Noah Harari. This is probably the most timely and urgent topic for us to be thinking about in greater depth. That is the inorganic information networks that connect all of us. If this is the only nonfiction book that you read in 2025, good, because it's the most urgent topic there is, in my opinion. We are currently in the middle of a flood of info, and the author likens that to the flood, Noah's flood in the Bible. And so that is why there is a pigeon on the front cover. In that story, Noah sent out a pigeon to the world. It's often translated as being a dove, but it's a pigeon, apparently, to see if the flood was over. In that case, it was a flood of water. In our case, it's a flood of information. A common misguided belief is that more information yields more wisdom. More information yields just positive things. And the more information we have, the more truth we'll discover. And that's one of the first things that Yuval Noah Harari very quickly disproves at the beginning of the book. He describes this as a naive view of information, that simply having more of it and being able to recombine it in more ways is only good for us. It'll only lead to more truth, more power. He disproves this naive view of information by basically giving us a comprehensive history lesson through the lens of which information networks were being used in different regimes over time. So he goes as far back as, like the subtitle suggests, the Stone Age, basically. Ancient Greece is one of the examples that he uses. He also gets into Stalin's Russia, the Bolsheviks. He discusses the Nazis at length. He discusses different religions, and he discusses how other information networks, other than the internet, which is the one we most commonly use, came to be. These information networks that we have, like social media, what have they already shown us that they've done, both positive and negative, but mainly negative, and what could they do in the future? The way that he combines his very sober, very comprehensive understanding of these tools and networks that we have with lessons learned from mistakes that have been made in the past is so brilliant that I can't really stop thinking about it. I'm not working this week, and so I've got time to think, and this is what I've been thinking about. In his words, one of the main questions that he's asking throughout the book is, why are we so good at accumulating more information and power, but far less successful at acquiring wisdom? He defines the shared problem that we all have as a network problem. His direct quote is, our problem, then, is a network problem. And here's a diagram of what he describes as the naive view of information, that information will lead to truth, which can only lead to more wisdom and power. And as we've very clearly seen over the last decade, with plenty of examples from social media, for instance, that's simply not the case. More information leads to more disinformation. The most impactful idea that he's ever discussed, at least for me, is that everything we say and do is fiction to some extent. This is an idea that is discussed in Sapiens, which is his first major successful book, as well as this one, Nexus. What makes us unique as humans is that not only are we able to have a subjective understanding of the world, so we're able to create fictions in our minds to help us understand the passage of time and how we fit into our families, the world, etc., but we also are able to create intersubjective fictions and fantasies. So we're able to have a shared belief in something that is not real at all. So Santa Claus would be an example of that. And that might sound simple, but the way that he returns to that idea over and over again just deepens the sense of how central that tenet of being a person is, at least for me. The main reason I'm making this video is because I would really like for you to read the book. The ideas in it are urgent. It's very important, I think, that we read about the information networks that we're using constantly, that you're using right now by watching this video. I think it's important that we read about these information networks in a book separate from the internet and take some time to really sit with what is happening, why it's happening, so that we can more deeply understand the present moment and figure out what we're gonna do about it individually and collectively. I am in no way sponsored by the publisher. I don't know the author, but I admire the author, and I especially admire this book. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I hope you pick up Nexus by Yuval Noah Harari. I'll see you in the next one.